welcome back. In our previous class, we've looked at use of problem analysis to develop solution. In this class, we have said we are going to look at developing theory of change. So let's look at what we have in the theory of change. So theory of change in general is an if-then statement describing expected result of activities in reference to a stated problem. It is also known as development hypothesis because you are saying if this happens, this will going to happen. Now, remember we have said in creating the solution, we have said the cause of the problem at the root of the problem 3 will become the result. For example, we have said to solve preventable diseases among the children, we want to provide quality drinking water to all the household, right? Now, which activities is required to give this result? We want to create a pipeline project that gives clean water closer to the household. So an activity like creating a pipeline from the water sources to the household leads to the result that we are interested in, that will now reverse the cause of the problem. So what theory of change does is it gets to the root of the problem, look at the solution or the result that we are expecting from the cause of the problem. Now we are using the activity we are looking for an activity which reverses this. So we are saying, like, if we develop this water source, all right, pipeline, it will bring quality water near household. Then we are going to reduce the number of mortality among the kids. Then we are saying this will improve healthy status of the population. So it is like, if we do this, then on short term this will happen, then on long term this will happen, which leads to now the global most ambitious goal of the project. So we are starting with activity, and then short-term output, long-term output, then of course that leads to the global goal, the strategic objective that we are looking for. That is what the theory of change gives us in this sense. Building on your understanding of the problem. Remember, we have looked at understanding of the problem, the causes and the effect from the project, from the problem 3, and your big picture solution. We have looked at the big picture solution of the result. Consider why your solution will address this problem. All right. The theory of change is your presentation of how and why you believe change will occur. Remember, you want to make a change like increase rate of treatment. So now you are sharing why and how this change will going to occur. It illustrates the activities that will lead to your intended solution or your intended result. So you have to have an activity that leads to that result that you have provided in the getting to the solution. All right. An example, if we create a space where youth can learn about careers and then link them to employment opportunities, and then this way lower youth crime rates. Look at this. We have said this youth that we are having, one of the cause of the problem is they are not linked to their careers. They don't understand the employment opportunities. So the activity of creating a space where youth can learn about careers will help to solve the cause of this problem. And then after they are learning about careers and link them to employment opportunities, they are linked to employment opportunities and they get the opportunities. Then now remember, one of the effects of youth unemployment is increased rate among youths. So this will going to lower the increased rate of crime among youths. So you're having like, if we do this, on short term we are going to link them to employment opportunities. Then at a long term we are going to lower the youth crime rate. And then of course globally what we are solving, or more ambitiously what we are solving, is the improving rate of employment among youths. But this doesn't happen without assumption. We are assuming that these youths are ready to work. We are assuming that crime rate among youth is caused by unemployment among youth. So maybe an assumption like, but this is only possible if they can get job sites, do the jobs well, and continue improving. Because if you are not doing this, if they are not going to the job site themselves and do the job well and continue to improve on their employability, then of course they will going to lose the job, go back to the crime, and the problem continues. So there must be an assumption for each solution that you're providing for the project. The theory of change if then statement make all implicit assumption more explicit. Now from the assumptions that we do not understand, the assumptions which are hard to identify and very hard to understand now become explicit, where it is expressed and shared easily. Again, theory of change clarifies the problem and causes the proposed intervention will address. It identifies or clarifies the causes that intervention will address. What do we mean here? We have said we are give youth a space where they can learn about their career. This is an activity, and this activity will link you to employment, and this link to employment will solve by lowering crime rate among youths. So while we are doing this, we are clarifying the causes of the problem, which is youth not accessing the career advices, and also we are improving on the problem, which is of course the effect in the society, increased crime rate among the youths. So each of these causes, each of these effects in the problem will now be addressed by activities that we can link them and understand them more clearly as we solve them. Again, the theory of change states clearly the intended outcome of the program. So here what we mean that while dealing with the theory of change, we will understand more the intended outcome of the program, like lowering the youth rate. Now you can create indicators for lowering the number of cases among the youth, so that you look at it and then look at places to improve this. Because when you say percentage change before this intervention and after this intervention, you can look at, evaluate or monitor the progress of the project and also the impact of the project in general. Identify how activities lead to outputs which lead to outcomes. So we have activities which lead to a short-term result, this short-term result and these activities now lead to a long-term, that is an outcome result. Great. So let's look at the structure of let's look at the structure of theory of change. So as we have said, it says if we do these activities by having this input and having this process, we then we will and then we think we will get this result on short term, that is the short term output, and then we will going to have this result in the long term. So if we have this activity by using this input and applying this process, we are going to have this short-term outcome, which is an output, or short-term result, which is an output. Then we are also going to have this long-term result, which is an outcome. Now, let's look at an example. For example, in education, you can solve the level of literacy among the children by, for example, if we train teachers on curriculum delivery. Now this is the activity. The activity is to train teachers on curriculum delivery. In short term, what do we get? A student will receive quality instruction on reading because these teachers now understand the curriculum. And when the student receives quality instruction on reading, what will happen in the long term? A student will have improved literacy. From activity, short-term result, long-term result. In agriculture, you can say something like, if we provide small loans to farmers to purchase improved seeds variety, then farmers increase quality production of crop. In long term, farmers will have increased revenue and enhanced livelihood. The general or strategic goal that we want to get here is something like the farmers improving the life of the farmers. So we have these activities. Providing loans, farmers will produce quality, and then this quality will lead to, of course, national and international markets open up for them, which increase their revenue and which increase their income, and then increasing their livelihood. So in general, farmers will have improved livelihood. In governance, you can have a statement like, if we strengthen local government's capacity and increase citizen participation, what do we get on short term? Local government are better able to respond to citizen needs. Government provides services that are more effectively delivered to citizens. But remember, as you're doing these activities, which lead to short term, which lead to long term, you have to keep the problem in mind. You have to keep the problem in mind. That is the only way you're going to provide a better theory of change. All right, we have some notes here. Activities seek to address some problem's causes, roots in the problem root. So at the problem root, you are using activities, which of course will lead to a result. Activities lead to short-term outcomes that we believe will result from activities and lead to project goals. Outcome solves effect of the problem, which lead to addressing core problem at the center of the tree. So in a nutshell, we have a result from identifying the objective from the problem causes. We had some result. Now for you to get this short-term result, we said you must have an activity. So you are going back a step. Again, going forward a step. So on having an activity, it leads to short term, which leads to long term, addressing a global or more ambitious goal of the project. That is the theory of change. In next class, we are going to look at conceptual framework. I hope this is helpful. Thank you and enjoy learning.